Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Serena Williams, Sir Jim Ratcliffe and the growing gap at the top of women's football. As Sonia Bompastor introduced her young children to Serena Williams on the pitch Wembley, before the 23-time Grand Slam tennis champion headed into the Chelsea dressing room to celebrate with the newly crowned, unbeaten treble winners. Manchester United manager Marc Skinner was being asked about someone who was creating a different sort of attention by his absence. For the second year in a row, Manchester United co-owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe was conspicuously missing from Wembley as his side appeared in the Women's FA Cup final, and there wasn't even the excuse of the men's team playing at the same time to hide behind either. United were still well represented at Wembley, with Chief Executive Omar Barada and Technical Director Jason Wilcox, the figures Skinner interacts with on a day-to-day basis, both present. But Ratcliffe's absence from Wembley's Royal Box stood in sharp contrast to Chelsea's new headline-grabbing superstar investors, who had flown across the Atlantic to watch their coronation. Williams was pitchside at Wembley as her husband. The Reddit co-founder and entrepreneur, Alexis Ohanian, spoke about his new £20 million in the English champions. "The sky's the limit," Ohanian said on the BBC. "That is what we're trying to build here. The best team in the world, and at the forefront of women's sport. This will be a billion-dollar franchise one day." Ohanian added that he wanted Chelsea to be unapologetically ambitious, a sentiment reflected by their history-making manager Bompastor. As the ticker tape fell on the pitch and the champagne was sprayed, Bompastor and her players were already telling themselves that they were not yet the best in Europe. "We are missing the Champions League," Bompastor said. "So that's who we are. That's our goal. I want to make sure we are all able to achieve that goal, to win the Champions League with the club." Bompastor added that Chelsea need to make sure we are going in the right direction in Europe, but they are already the best in England by some distance. In 30 matches in the Women's Super League, the FA Cup and the League Cup, Chelsea won 27, drew 3 and lost none. Their 3-0 victory over Manchester United at Wembley was not a surprise, given Chelsea had finished 2 places and 16 points ahead of their opponents in the league table. When Serena Williams steps into a room, power enters with her. She doesn't just own titles. She commands attention, sets agendas, and moves markets. From Wimbledon to venture capital, her influence stretches far beyond the baseline. And now, as her post-tennis life unfolds, Williams is helping to reshape a different kind of sporting future. This time, off the court and on the football pitch. In 2023, Williams made headlines when she joined a star-studded group of investors backing Angel City FC, a club in the U.S. National Women's Soccer League, NWSL, built on bold ideas, high-profile names, and a mission to radically elevate the women's game. It was a statement of ambition, empowerment, and belief in the untapped potential of women's football. Across the Atlantic, a very different figure has also entered the women's football conversation with seismic force. Sir Jim Ratcliffe, British billionaire and co-owner of Manchester United through INEOS. His arrival marked a new era of elite finance in women's football, an era where money, strategy, and global influence collide with a sport still fighting for visibility and parity. But as Williams and Ratcliffe represent two very different forces investing in the future of the women's game, one rooted in empowerment and social impact, the other in elite performance and brand consolidation. A troubling question lingers. Is women's football becoming too top-heavy too fast? Chapter 1. Serena's Play, Angel City and the Mission-Driven Model. From the beginning, Angel City FC was never just a football club. It was a movement. Founded in Los Angeles with investors like Serena Williams, Natalie Portman, Alexis Ohanian, and other cultural figures, Angel City staked its identity on inclusion, equity, and innovation. Their model was revolutionary. They implemented a 10% revenue-sharing agreement with players. They built the club with community investment baked into its DNA, partnering with nonprofits, elevating diverse voices, and creating a club culture that transcended sport. Their social media presence exploded. Merchandise sold out globally. Suddenly, women's football wasn't just catching up to the men's game, it was crafting something entirely new. Serena's role wasn't ceremonial, it was strategic. "She knows the power of visibility," said Julie Orman, Angel City's co-founder. "She didn't just bring attention, she brought a standard." Williams has long been a symbol of how black excellence, female power, and business savvy can redefine expectations. Her backing gave Angel City the kind of cultural clout that few sports teams, men's or women's, ever achieve. And yet, as Angel City soared in influence and valuation, a quieter truth began to emerge. Only a few clubs can do what Angel City does. Chapter 2. Ratcliffe's Reach, the Superclub Strategy. In Europe, Sir Jim Ratcliffe represents a different brand of football power. A billionaire industrialist with a deep love for sport and a sharp business mind. Ratcliffe's Ineos empire has taken stakes in Formula One, cycling, and now, the world's most iconic football club, Manchester United. His intent is clear: dominate. This includes not only revitalizing the men's team, but integrating the women's side into the broader ambition of becoming a superclub. Elite in infrastructure, elite in performance, elite in global reach. At face value, it's a welcome development. Manchester United Women, like many women's teams under traditional men's clubs, has historically received less investment, less marketing, and less strategic focus. Under Ratcliffe, that's beginning to change. The club now has better access to facilities, more resources, and a clearer path to continental competition. But Ratcliffe's entry also symbolizes something else: the consolidation of power in a few mega-rich clubs. The same financial dynamics that dominate the men's game are creeping into the women's space, raising standards at the top while widening the chasm below. Investment is great, said one FA Women's Championship coach anonymously. But if only the top 4 to 5 clubs are getting serious backing, the rest of us are just development teams for their benches. Chapter 3. A game of two speeds. The influx of celebrity investors and billionaire backers into women's football has undoubtedly raised the sport's profile. More people are watching. More media are covering. Sponsorships are growing. Prize money is rising. But these benefits aren't evenly distributed. In leagues across the world, from the FA Women's Super League to the Liga F in Spain and the NWSL in the United States, a gap is forming. It's not just about money. It's about resources, infrastructure, and systemic support. Top-tier clubs now boast cutting-edge sports science departments, charter flights, global marketing teams, and multi-million-dollar training facilities. Meanwhile, second-tier or independent clubs still struggle with basic amenities, like consistent access to grass pitches or full-time staff. You can't build a sustainable league if half your teams are playing Champions League football and the other half are holding bake sales, quipped one media pundit after a recent WSL fixture saw a 6-0 score line between a super club and a part-time outfit. And therein lies the tension. Serena Williams and Sir Jim Ratcliffe are both helping the game, but are they helping it equally for everyone? Chapter 4. The soul of the game at risk? There's an existential question looming over women's football. Will the game lose its soul chasing success? For decades, women's football has been defined not just by excellence, but by resilience. It grew in the shadows, often with shoestring budgets and fierce community support. It was authentic, gritty, and deeply tied to values of inclusion and perseverance. Now, as money flows in, that culture is evolving, and not always for the better. Sponsorships once based on grassroots passion are now data-driven branding exercises. Media coverage, once a fight for column inches, is now laced with expectations of influencer-style visibility. Some players worry that the game's rapid rise is forgetting those who built it. Everyone wants the Serena headline. One veteran NWSL player noted, but very few want to do the Serena work. To be fair, Williams has done the work, on and off the court. She remains a symbol of excellence forged through hardship, not handed through hype. But the system now risks rewarding marketability over merit. Clubs without celebrity ownership or billionaire patrons can feel left behind, no matter how talented their squads. Chapter 5. Bridging the divide. So how do we prevent the women's game from becoming a mirror of the men's? Top-heavy, profit-first, and deeply unequal. There are solutions, and ironically, Serena and Ratcliffe might hold parts of the answer. Investment with intent. Angel City's model proves that money can serve both business and community. By tying revenue sharing, grassroots partnerships, and equitable practices into their core business, they created a replicable blueprint. Strategic equity. Ratcliffe's influence could be transformational if used thoughtfully. Imagine Manchester United Women, not just dominating trophies, but actively mentoring and funding grassroots academies across the UK. League regulation. Federations must step in. Minimum investment standards, revenue sharing models, and competitive balance policies can protect smaller clubs from extinction and ensure long-term league health. Voices from within. Players, coaches, and local communities must have a seat at the table. The future of women's football can't be written only by billionaires and celebrities. It must reflect the people who live the game daily. Epilogue. A new era, still unwritten. In many ways, we are still at the beginning of the modern era of women's football. The sport is rising, evolving, and redefining what success looks like. Figures like Serena Williams bring star power, belief, and vision. Figures like Sir Jim Ratcliffe bring structure, finance, and global ambition. Both are needed. But what women's football truly needs is balance. It needs the electricity of Angel City and the discipline of Manchester United. It needs grassroots defenders and superstar strikers. It needs to remain a game where the dream isn't reserved for those with private jets and capital groups. As we look ahead to the next World Cup, the next Champions League final, and the next generation of girls lacing up boots on cracked city fields, we must ask, will the game rise for all, or only for a few? Because the real victory won't be in trophies or ticket sales. It will be in building a game where no one is left behind.